Thank you for joining us on the Word of Encouragement here on this Tuesday. We live in a day in which we talk about our rights. You find different movements, different segments of our culture that are demanding their rights. And that's been going on for a long time. In fact, that really starts, you can see it in the nursery. Children will demand their rights. That's mine. They shouldn't have it. And you see that develop as you go along. And so we all have that propensity. Well, we as believers need to realize that God will call us to do some things that are difficult. He will call us to give up rights so that we can truly be what we ought to be. He can allow trials in our lives if He wants to, for His purification of us and for His opening up of opportunities we couldn't have had any other way. So many trials in my life have opened up divine encounters that I couldn't have been at the right place at the right time for those encounters to occur. So God has the right to do that, and we need to be willing to give Him our rights. And when it comes to reaching people and being willing to be very sensitive to folks and have the right kind of testimony, we need to be willing there to give up our rights. Chapters 8, 9, and 10 of 1 Corinthians deal with that quite heavily, and how strongly we need to desire to be edifying to other believers and to not be a stumbling block to unbelievers. One verse along this line is verse 22 of chapter 9. To the weak became I as weak, that I might gain the weak. I made all things to all men, that I might by all means save some. Now what he's saying is that he had some rights. From a Christian standpoint, he knew that meat offered to idols was nothing. But if that was going to keep an unsaved person from getting saved, he was willing to give that up, to look like he was weak. He didn't understand things. He was willing to do that because he wanted to be able to reach these folks that were pagan and needed to hear the gospel. And so what he's saying here is he's not talking about compromising. He's just saying, I need to be willing to not exercise my rights if it's going to be a problem. I'm amazed how many Christians misinterpret this and do things that really cause other believers to stumble and cause the unsaved to wonder about the testimony of transformation and genuine Bible Christianity. And so it's very important that we understand that perspective. But the big point I want to get across is to be encouraged is to not have our focus on ourselves and what we want to do and what we think we deserve, but instead have the focus on what God is doing and the lives of others, people that He loves, and whatever He calls us to do, let's do it. And I'm telling you, when we are divine instruments, seeing God do a divine work, no matter what's happening around us, we are encouraged. And so I want to encourage you to think about, are you really willing to do whatever God wants you to do? Are you willing to give up your rights? Are you concerned about others and God more than yourself? Those are important questions. And believe me, if we can see victory in those, we will be encouraged.